collecting stuff for a wall around the village was my first thought to protect these baboons. I mean, what in the world would I do without them all? I travel all this way just to see them, so of course I gotta make sure they don't leave me, just like the rest have so far. It just took a lot of back and forth because I refused to make enough pickaxes at first. I don't know what's so hard to grasp for me that making a lot of picks makes making a lot of cobble, but it just wasn't. Not once. I mean, seriously, I may be broke. Should I have some brains rattling around my noggin, you know? But after a bit of messing around and figuring out how to use the least amount of cobblestone, I had at least one layer of a wall down. It was a bit scuffed, but that's okay for now. Simply clearing the land of trees in that way and adjusting the houses they have to face inwards and making sure everything was lit up was the very easy part. That was everything I normally do. Everything afterwards got a little difficult for me. So I was to the point that I trusted it was safe and I let them loose while also gaining their trust and trading with those I had resources for early on. I then got the idea that since I have no clue how to decorate or upgrade their housings, I was gonna dig all the way down to bedrock. It was like chunk mining, but I forgot how to see chunks, so I guessed on the shape, and that's how I did it. You won't be seeing most of it, and I kind of just showed you a clip of me clearing the top area, because it was the shortest. But then came the inevitable, that I would get bored of mining away for hours on end, so I started trading with everything I have, meaning I was using all my resources from all the mining and everything like that just to empty out and get as my trades like as good as possible early on. And after trading so many times, going back and forth in between my base and their area, I was noticing I got very lost easily with the swamp area, so I ended up actually using lily pads to path out in between, because going back and forth just to get all my wheat and my carrots and my potatoes and my wool is kind of not easy every single time when it's so far away. It takes like 2 minutes just to boat back over. So I turned just like the whole area into just a walkway, and then so I had lost all my stuff about 2 times at this point, and I needed to go back to my actual base to get stuff, but I realized I'm not good at living in the mines, and I said no thank you, and decided instead I was gonna make a cute pond shape inside of the walls as a heart. I really liked it, but I made sure it was only 2 deep to where they could easily get out, you know, because they're dumb. And then I started giving them food to where they would help procreate. And I found a little kitty cat as well. I love the kitty cat, but that procreate thing, yeah, that did not go too well for me. For you see, I gave them too much food, and they took over every single bed in the village. So I have no impulse with automated farms to keep up with such demand and product of how many people were wanting to get a job there, but I was going crazy. I tried though, while only meant to keep traveling along my path back home even more. So I guess the lily pads do me good there, but let me tell you what, the randomization of getting the trade that you want is so hard. This farmer did not want my carrots. And then I went home, and these hooligans were threatening me? Ridiculous, honestly. Though they weren't the brightest bunch, and they just stared at me menacingly, so that's fine, but also, they threatened me. Imagine the audacity. But, you know, it happens. It's okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just went through this a lot. And the thing is, I was still mining through this whole process. Like, I would still mine at least, like, 2 hours a day while also going back and forth and trading with the villagers, collecting my crops, all of that. And then I decided I would record at least the transition from the normal blocks to the deep slate blocks, because I put in at least 30 hours into this video. I'm not even kidding. That doesn't include the editing process. And then I got sick of it, and I went to the nether. It was great. I kind of just collected what I needed at the time. I intentionally went there for quartz stuff, mainly to where I could get some simple farms going that I knew how to do. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, do give it a like and consider following, for I'm a queer obsessed with Minecraft, so this is not gonna end. But like I said, I went to the Nether to get quartz for a sugarcane farm, but the thing is, I'm not good at farms, and while it's the only farm I know, I never remember how to do it when I get to it. I remember that the observer needs to see when it gets tall, but I always put the pistons up too high, and then I struggle to put the observer in, and then I look at it and I go, this isn't right, and then I remember the pistons go down low, and then I'm like, well, how am I supposed to get the redstone from up there to down here? And then I just end up making it really small every single time, because it took me like half an hour to do this, okay? There was a cut for a reason. I'm sorry. I'm not smart. And also the water washing in the way. It wasn't easy. I failed a lot. But then I went back to my house and I listened to Swoop tell me all these stories of how Swoop can't wait for the library I promised them, but they're stuck in boats because of it. And so I went away to the Nether just to not hear the stories anymore, collecting tree, mushroom things, whatever the piglins call them. I don't really know piglin too much, but, you know, they call them mushrooms, I call them trees. All I know is they're very pretty, and I almost used it to build for the village, but then I realized, no, that's not a good color palette. It went well, and then I found this really big basalt box, and the thing about this big basalt box was it was making piglin noises, and I didn't know that that was a thing, so I kind of just kept opening the box in different spots to see what was going on. At first it was just like little gold things, you know, I'm being cautious, I'm investigating, all of that jazz, when this very angry man started shouting at me saying I was breaking into his house. Obviously, I felt mean, and I tried to amend things with gold, but he would not let it slide, let me tell you what. And the thing is, you don't want to make a hot guy mad, so you let it pass. But I really didn't want to let it pass. I mean, it was cool, and it was full of gold, and plus he was there. But, obviously, I let the logical side of my brain get to me, and I left the cutie to its own demise. He definitely did not kill me, and all I did was go back for my stuff afterwards and leave. Totally not why. But back at home, I got sick of leaving my pumpkins over by the river. I was being lazy. It was not the place to care for them. Instead, I made a cute little greenhouse. That's right, I'm ending the video I'm building. Isn't that great? So I kind of just leveled the land. I put in about 4 rows for the pumpkins. And after a bit, I decided I was going to do a birch theme because I still had so much birch from when I cleared this forest, and it would match a few of the other builds pretty well. And I just went for a basic clear greenhouse vibe. It was kind of easy, kind of not, mostly because I kept running out of some resources here and there and having to go back and getting more. I am so sorry that my voice is just dying on me in the middle of this. I don't know what's going on. I am not sick. And the worst part was, I didn't have enough glass for it, like, this whole time. This whole time, I just did not have glass for it, and so this is like 3 time lapses in one, just because I didn't have glass. And so every time I'd disappear to get more glass, and then when I had more glass, I'd work on the wood, and then I'd disappear, and I'd get more glass, and then I'd finish off the wood. It was a process, okay? But I really like how it turned out, especially with the 2 really open doors. And then on the inside, I made 2 little small bridges to where I didn't have to jump across or just have 2 little trapdoors. Like, I wanted it to be immersive. And then I realized maybe adding a path in would help me complete the 3-4 buildings that I haven't completed in the area, because I got so disappointed in the villagers not wanting to stay. I wanted to make it feel more immersive, like it's actually a path that I've used a lot, because that's pretty much the only area I was in until the villagers. And then I added in some lampposts. Don't mind the fact that I just never mined that one block. I did. I'm just so broke. I didn't have a pickaxe in the moment, and I waited. I made sure they all faced the same way, kind of continuity, all that jazz. I appreciate this, thank you for being here, come on! Oh, want to let me, I do.